The mysterious habit. The night sky above Earth was quiet, but her heart was not. The alien girl stood on the edge of the city, her eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. She had traveled across stars, across endless black space, only to come here, to the strange blue planet humans called Earth. Her people had told her many things about humans. They are loud. They are dangerous. They are weak but unpredictable. But there was one thing no one could explain. Every night, humans performed a strange act, a ritual that even her advanced knowledge could not understand. She had seen it many times now. She watched from rooftops, from shadows, and sometimes from the open window of a small apartment where a young man lived. Every night, before he closed his eyes, he would do something strange. He would turn off the lights. He would sit on his bed. Sometimes he would close his eyes. Sometimes he would whisper to himself. And then he would place his hand over his chest, breathe slowly, and speak words that had no clear meaning. The alien girl tilted her head, watching. Why would a human talk to empty air? Why would he whisper words when no one could hear him? Her mind filled with questions. Was it a hidden weapon? Some kind of code? A way to contact others? Or was it a weakness? She had been sent to study humans, to learn their secret habits. But this one was different. It was not in the reports. None of her people had written about it. None of the records mentioned this nightly act. And yet, every human she observed did it in some form. Some closed their eyes and folded their hands. Some stared out the window, looking at the stars. Some whispered names, soft and careful, as if those names were treasures. It was not one man. It was not one house. It was all of them. The alien girl shivered. This was not science. This was not logic. This was something else. She decided to focus on the young man in the small apartment. He seemed ordinary, dark hair, tired eyes, simple clothes. He worked during the day, came home late, and lived alone. Yet at night, he never failed to perform this ritual. Tonight, she watched again. The clock ticked slowly. The city outside was full of noise, cars moving, lights flashing, humans talking. But inside the room, silence grew. The man turned off the lamp. He sat down. His face softened. And then, just as always, he placed his hand over his chest and whispered. The alien girl leaned closer. Her sharp hearing caught the words. "Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. I miss you." Her eyes widened. He was speaking to no one. No one stood in the room. No one answered him. And yet, he spoke with warmth, as if he truly believed someone was listening. Why? She stepped back into the shadows, her chest tight. This made no sense. Why would humans talk to people who were not there? Why would they whisper love into the air? Her people would laugh at such foolishness. Love was weakness. Attachment was danger. Emotion was a chain that broke logic. And yet, every night, she saw humans do this willingly. Not once, not twice, but always. She clenched her fists. Perhaps this was the true weapon of humans, the reason they survived, the reason they fought so hard. But she could not be sure. The alien girl promised herself. She would find the answer. She would discover why humans did this every night. And she would learn whether it was weakness or the most dangerous strength in the galaxy. The night wind brushed against her skin as she vanished back into the shadows, her mind full of questions and her heart unsettled. Tomorrow night, she would watch again. Tomorrow night, she would come closer. For now, she whispered to herself in her own alien tongue, a soft sound that trembled with unease. Every night they do this. But why? The watchful eyes. The alien girl did not sleep. Sleep was something her kind never needed, but tonight she would not have closed her eyes even if she could. Her mind replayed the human's words again and again. "Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. I miss you." She whispered them to herself, testing the strange shape of the words. They did not taste like commands. They did not sound like logic. They carried no power, no secret weapon. Yet they carried something heavier, something she could not name. Her mission was clear: observe, record, and never interfere. But her curiosity was stronger than her orders. And so the next evening, she returned to the small apartment, hiding in the shadows, her sharp alien eyes fixed on the young man once more. The city lights glowed around her. Humans rushed through streets, laughing, shouting, living their short, fragile lives. She ignored them all. Her attention was on only one human, the one who held the answer to her question. Why did he do this every night? The young man arrived home late, just as before. His shoulders were heavy with tiredness, his steps slow, his face blank. He cooked something simple, ate in silence, and stared at a glowing screen for a while. His life seemed ordinary, too ordinary for someone who carried such a secret. But when the clock moved closer to midnight, his face changed. His eyes softened, his shoulders straightened, and he prepared for that strange ritual once again. The alien girl moved closer. She crouched on the rooftop just above his room, her senses sharp, her breath quiet. Through the thin window, she watched as he turned off the light and sat on his bed. This time, his whisper was longer. "Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Good night, Lily. I miss all of you. I hope you're proud of me. I'll do better tomorrow." The alien girl froze. There were more names now. Who was Lily? Why did he hope they were proud? She leaned forward, her claws gripping the rooftop edge. Her people never spoke like this. They never told someone they were missed. They never cared about pride. To her kind, words were weapons or tools, never gifts. And yet this man gave them freely, every night, to people who were not even there. For the first time, she felt a pull inside her chest. It was uncomfortable, like a knot she could not untangle. Was this what humans felt? Did this ritual give them strength? Or was it a sickness that made them weaker? She had to know. The following night, she made a mistake. She stepped too close to his window, so close that the old wood creaked beneath her foot. The sound was small. To most ears, it would have been nothing. But the man turned. His eyes met hers through the glass. The alien girl froze. She had been trained for combat, for survival, for silence in the dark, but she had not been trained for this. For the first time since she left her world, she felt panic. But instead of fear, instead of anger, the human did something she could never have expected. He smiled. It was not the sharp smile of a predator. It was not the cold smile of a liar. It was soft, gentle, warm. And then, to her shock, he opened the window. "Hey," he said quietly. "I know you've been watching." Her chest tightened. He had noticed her all this time? How? Why had he not attacked, or shouted, or run? The man tilted his head, studying her glowing eyes, her strange form half hidden in the night. "You don't have to hide. Do you want something to eat?" Eat? Her people would never offer food to a stranger. Food was survival, and survival was war. But he spoke as if sharing food was natural, as if kindness was as common as breathing. The alien girl did not answer. Her voice refused to come. She stepped back, unsure whether to flee or stay. The man did not chase her. He only left the window open for a while, then whispered his strange words again before closing his eyes. "Good night, everyone. Good night, whoever's out there." This time, the words were not only for his family. They were for her. The alien girl vanished into the shadows, her heart pounding in a rhythm she had never felt before. She told herself she was only curious, only gathering information. But deep inside, she knew the truth. Something had changed. Humans were not weak. They were not foolish. They carried something her people had never known, something invisible but powerful. And now, she wanted to understand it, not as a spy, but as herself. That night, far away from his window, the alien girl whispered in her own tongue, soft and trembling. "Good night, whoever's out there." The words felt strange, but they also felt alive. And for the first time, the endless night did not feel so empty. First contact with emotion. The alien girl returned the next night. She told herself it was duty, only duty. She was a watcher, a spy. She had to learn more. But deep inside, she knew something else pulled her back. The memory of his smile, the warmth of his words, the strange way he had spoken not only to ghosts, but to her. The city was quiet when she arrived. The moonlight painted the rooftops silver. She took her usual place, close enough to see through the window, but far enough to run if danger came. Inside, the young man moved through his evening. Cooking, eating, sitting with his glowing screen. All ordinary, all simple. But she waited for what came after. She waited for the moment when his face would soften, when the mystery would begin. And then it came. He turned off the light. He sat on the edge of his bed. He placed his hand on his chest, and his lips moved. "Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Good night, Lily. I miss you all so much." The alien girl leaned forward. She wanted to understand. She needed to. But tonight, something different happened. The man stopped. He turned his head. His eyes found the window again. "I know you're there," he said softly. Her heart jumped. She froze in the shadows. "You don't have to hide." His voice was calm, steady, almost kind. "If you want to come closer, I won't hurt you." The alien girl's instinct screamed at her to flee. Her people would have run. They would have vanished into the dark and never returned. But her legs would not move. Some invisible pull kept her still. Slowly, carefully, she stepped into the light. The man looked at her glowing eyes, her strange form, and instead of fear, he smiled again. "There you are," he whispered. "You've been curious, haven't you?" She did not answer. Her tongue felt heavy. She had studied human languages, but using them was different. Risky. The man reached beside his bed and picked up a small object, a piece of bread. He held it out toward the open window. "Here, you must be hungry." "Hungry?" She tilted her head. Food was not what she came for. But the gesture, the offer, felt strange. Not dangerous, but soft. Her people never offered without a price. Everything was trade. Everything had a cost. Yet this man gave something without asking anything back. Why? Her claws trembled as she reached for the bread. She expected him to pull back at the last second, to laugh, to trap her. But he did not. He let her take it. His hand stayed still, open, honest. She held the bread, staring at it, then staring at him. He did not look like an enemy. He looked tired, lonely, human. Finally, she spoke. Her voice was quiet, cracked, but the words were clear. "Why you talk to empty air?" The man blinked. For a moment, he seemed surprised that she could speak. But then he nodded, as if he had been waiting for that question all along. "I'm not talking to empty air," he said gently. "I'm talking to them, to the people I love. They're gone now, but when I say good night, it feels like they're still here, like I'm not alone." The alien girl frowned. "Gone? You mean dead?" He looked down, his eyes heavy with sadness. "Yes, dead, but not forgotten." The words struck her harder than she expected. On her world, the dead were nothing. Gone was gone. No one spoke to them. No one remembered them. Yet this man kept them alive in his heart. "Why?" she asked. Her voice trembled without her permission. "Why keep speaking to what cannot answer?" The man smiled sadly. "Because love doesn't die. Not here." He tapped his chest, right over his heart. "As long as I remember them, they're still with me. And it makes me strong, even when the world is hard, even when I'm alone." The alien girl's breath caught. Strong? He called this strange ritual strength? Speaking to silence, whispering into nothing. Yet the way his voice shook, the way his eyes softened, it did not look like weakness. It looked real. For the first time in her life, she felt something inside her own chest. A small warmth. A flicker of something she had no word for. She turned quickly, stepping back into the shadows. "I will watch again," she said, her voice low. The man only nodded. "Then I'll leave the window open." And with that, he lay down, whispered his ritual once more, and closed his eyes. The alien girl did not leave immediately. She stood in the night, holding the bread, her thoughts tangled and heavy. His words replayed in her mind. Love doesn't die. Not here. As she finally walked away, she whispered something she did not understand, her alien tongue struggling to shape the sound. Good night. It was the first time she had ever said it. And though she did not know why, the night around her suddenly felt less empty. The power of affection. The alien girl returned again. She told herself it was only for study, only for the mission. But she could not lie to herself anymore. Something about the human's words had stayed inside her. They echoed in her thoughts, even when she tried to push them away. Love doesn't die. Not here. She had never heard such a thing on her world. To her people, love was not power. Love was weakness. It made one soft, made one blind, made one easy to break. And yet this human, fragile, mortal, ordinary, spoke as if love was his greatest weapon. She had to know why. That night, the man left the window open as promised. He was waiting for her. His small lamp glowed softly, and he sat on the bed with the same tired smile. "You came back," he said quietly. The alien girl did not answer. She only stepped inside the room, her eyes watching every corner, her body tense. His space was small: books, clothes, a glowing screen, and a few pictures on the wall. Her gaze froze on one picture. A family. The man stood between an older couple, their arms around him, all three smiling. Another picture showed him with a girl about his age. The girl's eyes looked bright, her smile wide. The alien girl pointed. "Who are they?" The man looked at the photos. His face softened. "My parents. And my sister. Lily. They are dead," the alien said. "Yes," he whispered, "but they are still here." He tapped his chest again. "Here." The alien girl tilted her head. "Strange. Why do humans keep the image of the lost? Why keep pain alive?" He looked at her carefully, as if choosing each word. "Because love isn't pain. It's memory. It's strength. When I speak to them, I don't feel empty. I feel connected." "Connected?" She repeated the word slowly. He nodded. "Yes, like a thread that never breaks. Even death can't cut it." The alien girl frowned. To her people, death was the end of all threads. The dead were forgotten, erased. No one wasted thought on them. And yet this man built his strength on them, as if carrying invisible chains that made him stronger, not weaker. He saw her confusion and reached for something on the table. A small box. He opened it and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "This," he said, handing it carefully, "is a letter. My sister wrote it before she died. I keep it with me always." The alien girl hesitated, but took it. The paper felt fragile in her claws, softer than any material she knew. She read the simple words inside. "Don't give up. Keep smiling. You are stronger than you think." She blinked. The words were plain. No weapon, no secret code. And yet they burned into her mind like fire. "Why carry this?" she asked. "Because when I feel weak," he said. Her words remind me I'm not alone. Even now, even after everything. The alien girl stared at him. His eyes were tired, his body weak, his life ordinary. And yet, something inside him glowed brighter than any weapon she had ever seen. Was this the secret? Was this the power that let humans endure? For a long moment, she stood silent, the paper still in her hands. Then she asked, "Do all humans carry such threads?" He smiled gently. "Most do. Some forget. Some lose hope. But yes, love connects us all. That's what makes us human." The alien girl's chest ached. It was a strange ache, one she had never felt before. She gave the paper back, almost unwilling to let it go. That night, she did not leave quickly. She stayed as he whispered his ritual again. "Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Good night, Lily. I love you." The alien girl felt something shift inside her. For the first time, she whispered too, barely a breath. "Good night." The man turned to her, surprised. But he did not laugh. He did not mock. He only nodded, as if her small word meant the world. When she left the apartment that night, the stars above Earth seemed brighter. The air felt warmer. She touched her chest, right where the ache still lingered. Was this affection? Was this the power of humans? She had come to study them as a scientist. But now, she wondered if she had stepped into something far greater. For the first time in her life, she feared her people had been wrong. Perhaps love was not weakness. Perhaps it was the greatest strength of all. And as she whispered good night, once more to the empty night sky, she knew this was only the beginning of her change. Alien heart awakens. The alien girl stood on the rooftop long after she left the man's home. She stared at the stars, stars she had crossed, stars that belonged to no one. And for the first time, she felt small. Not because she was weak, but because something inside her had started to grow, and it frightened her. She had whispered the word, "Good night." It was such a small word, but it refused to leave her. It clung to her mind like a seed planted in soil she never knew she carried. On her world, such words did not exist. There was no need for softness, no need for affection. Only strength, only survival. Yet now, she felt a pull, a new ache in her chest that made her question everything she thought she knew. The next night, she returned, not because of her mission, not because of duty, but because she wanted to. The man welcomed her with the same tired but gentle smile. He did not ask who she was, where she came from, or why she watched him. He simply accepted her presence, as if it were natural. This unsettled her more than any weapon. Acceptance was more dangerous than hostility, because it slipped past defenses she did not even know she had. He placed food before her again, bread, fruit, something warm. She sat, stiff and uncertain, but she ate. For the first time, she shared food, not as trade, not as survival, but as something else. The man spoke while she listened. He told her about his life, about work that bored him, about streets that were too loud, about how sometimes he laughed, sometimes he cried, but always, he remembered the faces in the photos. The alien girl said little, but her eyes never left him. When night grew quiet, the ritual began again. The man whispered to his family. His voice was soft, steady, filled with affection. She listened, her breath held, waiting, and then he turned to her. Would you like to try? Her heart jumped. Try what? Say goodnight. Not to me, not even to them. To anyone. To anything. Just say it. She froze. Her people would have called this foolish, wasteful, dangerous. Words were power. Words were weapons. They were never thrown into the air for no reason. But here he was, offering her something strange and new. Her throat tightened. I cannot. Why not? He asked softly. Because it means nothing. He shook his head gently. It means everything. Try. You'll see. The alien girl looked away, her chest burning. She wanted to refuse. She wanted to hold to her training, her mission, her cold logic. But the seed inside her pushed, growing roots she could not stop. Finally, she whispered, so soft it was almost silence. Good night. Her voice cracked. Her claws trembled. She hated the weakness of it, and yet she felt something she had no word for. Warmth. The man smiled, not mocking, not laughing, only gentle. See? Now it's yours. She stared at him, confused. Mine. Yes, that word, that feeling. You gave it, so now it lives in you. Her chest tightened again. She had never thought of words as things to keep. On her world, words vanished the moment they were spoken. But here, on this fragile planet, words lived. That night, when she left, she did not run into the shadows. She walked slowly, her thoughts heavy. She found herself whispering again, this time to the stars. Good night. The stars, of course, did not answer. But she felt lighter, as if they had listened anyway. Days passed. Each night she returned. Each night she sat closer. Each night she listened more. She began to ask questions. What is love? Why do you miss the dead? Why do humans smile when they are in pain? And each time, the man answered not with logic, but with stories. Stories of laughter. Stories of tears. Stories of warmth that outlived death. She began to understand, not with her mind, but with her heart. Her people had been wrong. Love was not weakness. Love was something else. Something she did not yet understand, but could feel growing inside her. One evening, when the ritual ended, she did something new. She turned to the man and whispered, "Good night to you." He looked at her, surprised. His eyes softened. "Good night," he answered. Her chest ached. Her voice shook. But for the first time, she felt connected. Truly connected. As she left that night, she realized something terrifying. Her heart was no longer only alien. It was changing, awakening. And though she did not know where it would lead, she could not stop it anymore. The alien girl whispered once more into the vast, endless sky. Good night. And this time, she almost hoped the universe whispered back. Shock and realization. The alien girl's people demanded answers. She had been gone too long. Night after night, she watched the human. Night after night, she whispered the forbidden word. Good night. Now, a voice from her ship called her back. Report, the voice commanded. What have you learned of humans? Her chest felt heavy. She had always spoken to her people with sharp, clear words. But tonight, her tongue resisted. She thought of the man's tired smile, the photos on his wall, the letter that carried strength through death. Finally, she spoke. Humans are strange. Every night, they perform a ritual. They close their eyes. They speak to the air. They whisper to the dead. Her people laughed. Their voices echoed cold through the communicator. Foolish. Wasteful. A weakness. But she shook her head. No, not weakness. They call it affection. They carry the lost inside them. They speak as if love does not end. Her words fell silent. For a moment, there was nothing but static. Then a sharper voice cut through. You have been contaminated. Her chest burned. Contaminated? No, I am learning. They survive because of this. They endure pain, loss, and death, and still rise again. Their affection makes them strong. Strong. The leader's voice was cold. Affection makes them blind. It wastes energy. It poisons logic. You forget your duty. Her claws curled. She had never raised her voice against her people before, but the words burst out of her before she could stop them. You are wrong. The silence that followed was dangerous. Explain, the leader ordered. Her breath shook. She thought of the man again, whispering names into the night, giving kindness even to a stranger who spied on him. She remembered the warmth that stayed inside her when she repeated his words. I felt it, she admitted. When I spoke as they do, it changed me. It gave me something I did not have before. You disgrace yourself, the leader hissed. No soldier speaks to ghosts. No warrior clings to the dead. You will return at once. You will be cleansed. Her body stiffened. Cleansed. She knew what that meant. They would erase her memories, burn away every trace of the warmth she had found. She would return to her people as she once was, cold, empty, obedient. But the thought of losing it, the thought of forgetting the word good night, made her heart ache more than fear ever had. That night, she did not report again. Instead, she returned to the human's window. The man was there, sitting quietly with his lamp, a book open in his hands. He looked up when he saw her, his face lit with the same simple smile. You came back. She stepped inside without speaking. Her chest still burned with the echo of her people's voice. They call it weakness, she said at last. He tilted his head. Who? My people, she whispered. They laugh at your ritual. They say affection makes you blind. They want me to return, to forget. The man's smile faded. He closed the book, his eyes thoughtful. And what do you believe? Her voice trembled. I do not know. He was quiet for a while. Then he reached for the small box on his table. From it, he pulled another letter. His hand shook slightly as he unfolded it. This one is from my father, he said softly. He wrote it before he died. Listen, he read aloud. When life feels too heavy, remember, you are never alone. Love is carried forward, even in silence. It is not weakness. It is the reason we fight to live. The alien girl's breath caught. The words cut deeper than any weapon. They matched what she had felt, but could not explain. Do you see? The man whispered. It's not foolish. It's not blind. It's hope. And without hope, we are nothing. Her claws trembled. She touched her chest again, where the ache now lived like a second heart. Hope, she repeated softly. She thought of her people, so proud, so certain. She thought of their cold logic, their endless wars. And then she thought of this man, alone yet unbroken, carrying his family inside him like a shield. For the first time, she realized something that filled her with both wonder and fear. Her people were wrong. Humans were not strong despite their affection. They were strong because of it. When she left that night, she looked at the sky not as a soldier, but as someone caught between two worlds. Her people would not forgive her. They would not understand. But her heart had already chosen its path. And as she whispered good night, once more, this time with tears she did not understand, she knew the truth. The greatest power in the universe was not weapons. It was not logic. It was affection, and she would never be the same again. The transformation. The alien girl walked the city streets alone. The night was quiet, but her mind was loud. Her people's voices echoed inside her, cold, sharp, commanding. Return. Be cleansed. Forget. But her heart echoed with something stronger. A single word, soft yet heavy with meaning. Good night. She had spoken it. She had felt it, and she could not let it go. That night, she did not hide on the rooftop. She stepped into the man's room openly. He looked up from his chair, surprised, then smiled as always. "You're not hiding anymore," he said gently. "No," she answered. Her voice was steadier than before. "I cannot hide." The man closed his book. "What's wrong?" She hesitated. For the first time, she wanted to tell the truth. Not the truth of her mission, not the truth of her orders, but the truth of herself. "My people want me to return," she said slowly. "They say I am contaminated, changed. They want to take this from me." He studied her face, calm and patient. "And what do you want?" Her claws trembled. She touched her chest, where the strange warmth had taken root. "I want to keep it. I want this word, this feeling. I want affection." The man's eyes softened. "Then it's already yours." Silence filled the room, but it was not heavy. It was alive, filled with something stronger than fear. She looked at the photos again. She thought of the voices and the letters. She thought of the simple bread he had offered her without asking anything in return. Her people had been wrong all along. Power was not in claws or weapons or endless logic. Power was in this: small words, quiet gestures, love that survived even in silence. She had come as a spy. Now, she knew she could never be one again. The communicator on her wrist buzzed. Her leader's voice cracked through, cold and sharp. "Return now. Final command." The alien girl looked at the man. He said nothing, but his eyes spoke enough. She lifted her wrist, stared at the blinking light, and then she tore the device off and crushed it in her hand. Sparks flickered, then died. Her people would see her as a traitor now, but she felt no fear. For the first time, she felt free. The man stood, surprised. "That was brave." She shook her head. "No, that was necessary." For a long moment, they simply stood together in the quiet room. Two beings from different worlds, bound not by blood or duty, but by something far more human. Finally, the man spoke. "It's time for the ritual." She nodded. This time, she did not need to be asked. She stood beside him as he whispered his words. "Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Good night, Lily. I love you." And then, without hesitation, the alien girl whispered her own. "Good night to the stars. Good night to who I was." Her voice shook, but her heart felt lighter than ever. Something changed inside her in that moment. She was no longer only alien. She was no longer only soldier. She was something new, someone who had touched the secret strength of humans and carried it now within herself. As she left the apartment and stepped into the night, she looked up at the endless sky. Her people had always told her the universe was cold, empty, unforgiving. But tonight, it did not feel empty at all. She whispered again, softly but firmly, "Good night." And for the first time, she believed the universe whispered back.